All right, today we're going to talk about different characters and how each character has a different perspective. So the main character in the story, I think you all know, is the one that is mostly talked about in the story. There are also secondary characters. Secondary characters are just the other characters. So if we start out with The Lost Lake, this was a story about a boy and his father. And so we're going to talk about how they each have a different perspective, just because they're different people. So in The Lost Lake, we go back to this page. I'm going to read what's on the page right in front of this. One morning, I started cutting pictures out of old magazines, just to be doing something. They were pictures of mountains and rivers and lakes, and some showed people fishing and canoeing. Looking at them made me feel cool, so I pinned them up in my room. Dad didn't notice them for 2 days. When he did, he looked at them one by one. "Nice pictures," he said. "Are you angry with me, Dad?" I asked, because he saved old magazines for his work. "It's all right, Luke," he said. "I'm having this place painted soon anyway." He thought I was talking about the marks I'd made on the wall. All right, now if you remember, in this story, he had just come to live with his father for the summer. So it sounds like the two parents are divorced, and he usually lives with mom, but he's come for the summer and he's been bored. He doesn't know anybody, he's alone. So I'm thinking in this story where he's cutting out the pictures, that in the boy's perspective, he's looking at the pictures thinking that his dad is going to get mad at him. So he's a little bit nervous because he's cut out pictures in magazines his dad usually saves for work.
Levi Sears.
Sorry,
You are
we're at
to
the
be
end of the
at
school day
parent
here.
pickup. Levi Sears, you are to be at parent pickup.
Okay, so he's a little anxious about what his father is going to say. However, looking at the dad, he doesn't look mad in the picture. And I'm thinking he's looking at all these pictures of lakes and islands and water. He knows that it's hot. He's remembering how when he was a kid, he and his dad used to go out to the Lost Lake. And I think he's thinking, hey, that might be a fun thing for me to do with Luke. So different perspectives there. Let's take a look at another example from Ruth in the Green Book. All right, so in this book, the family stops at a gas station at one point to use the restroom. After driving for a long time, we stopped at a service station to fill up on gas. As Daddy was paying the station attendant, Mama asked for the key to the restroom. The man said we couldn't use the restrooms because they were for whites only. Mama and I had to go into the woods. I was embarrassed, but Mama said the people who should be ashamed of themselves were those service station owners. All right, so here's another example of a different perspective. Two people, the main character being Ruth and the secondary character being her mother, are in the situation where they're not allowed to use the restroom. Ruth feels embarrassed. She's embarrassed because she feels like she's doing something wrong. She kind of feels like she's in trouble. And she's probably never experienced being told before that she can't do something because of the color of her skin. Mama, on the other hand, is angry. She is angry that even though the gas station would take their money for letting them buy gas, they wouldn't let them use the bathroom just because of the color of their skin. She knows the gas station owners are being racist, and she doesn't want to put up with that anymore. So same situation, the main character and the secondary character having different perspectives or points of view. Let's take a look at one more story. Remember La Mariposa? And we're going to go to the part in the book where the boys were fighting over the jacket. So I'm going to skip down. Well, no, I better start at the beginning just to remind you. One cold Thursday morning during recess, Francisco was the only kid on the playground without a jacket. The principal must have noticed that he was shivering, because after school, he took him to his office and pulled out a green jacket from a large cardboard box full of used clothes. He handed it to Francisco and gestured for him to try it on. It smelled like graham crackers. Francisco put it on, but it was too big, so he rolled up the sleeves about 2 inches. Then he took it home and showed it off to his parents. He liked it because it was green and it hid his suspenders. The next day, Francisco wore his new jacket to school. He was on the playground waiting for the first bell to ring when he saw Curtis coming at him like an angry bull. Curtis aimed his head at Francisco, pulled his arms straight back with his hands clenched, and ran up to him yelling. Francisco did not understand him, but he knew it had something to do with the jacket because Curtis began to pull on it, trying to take it off. Next thing Francisco knew, he and Curtis were on the ground wrestling. Kids circled around them. He could hear them yelling Curtis's name and something else. Francisco knew he had no chance. Curtis was so much bigger and stronger, but he held on tight to his jacket. Why should he let him take it? Curtis pulled on one of the sleeves so hard that it ripped at the shoulder. He pulled on the right pocket and it ripped too. All right, so our main character here, of course, is Francisco. Curtis is a secondary character. And in this situation, remember that Francisco couldn't speak English very well. So he is feeling like, the principal gave me this jacket, it's mine. And he doesn't understand what Curtis is saying and why he's trying to take his jacket away. Curtis, on the other hand, knows the jacket is his. And maybe he thought he had lost it, but now he's thinking Francisco took it from him. And he's angry and wants his jacket back. So it's just a big misunderstanding with a language barrier there. So whenever you're reading books, pay attention to the main character, but also the secondary characters. And think about how they view things differently. It's the same way in real life. You can be in the exact same situation as someone else in your family. You both are thinking different things and have some different experiences. So you might have a different perspective of that situation. So what I want you to do is, as you're reading your fiction book today, see if you can find an example in the story where you see 2 different characters having a different perspective or a different point of view. Put a sticky note in there or a bookmark, somehow mark it, and the next time we meet for reading lessons, I want you to bring that out and show us what you've learned about primary characters, secondary characters, and their perspective. Have a good day.